Hi everyone, I'm outside Brazilian Embassy. Here's some of the banners people have got. Morning everyone, I'm doing some filming for XR Sheffield. Would anyone like to talk to me about their banner? Would you like to talk about why you're protesting this morning?
Well, yes, because the Brazilian government is about to pass a bill that is making it so that the indigenous people will lose their lands because they don't have pieces of paper that prove they own it. And the bill is trying to take that land for mining and fossil fuels and stuff like that. So, you know, these are indigenous people, that's their way of life, and they'll be landless.
And they're the people that look after the forest, aren't they? Rather than...
Sorry?
And they're the people that look after the forest.
Yeah, exactly. So Bolsonaro basically, his mission seems to have been to destroy the Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you know, that's what he had done.
Yeah.
So, and this latest bill,
So they want you
really,
to move?
this latest bill is an obscenity.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Looks like we're on the move. So this is an indigenous emergency. Some interesting characters here. Looks like there's going to be some interesting streets here to live in. Faith Bridge, united for our sacred earth. Good morning. I'm just filming. Would you like to talk to the viewers about why you're here today?
Definitely. Well, here we are outside the Brazilian Embassy. Bolsonaro's policies are ripping through the Amazon, absolutely destroying indigenous communities who have been basically the guardians of the Amazon for all these years while we've kind of lost our way. Yeah. They managed to understand the importance of being at one with nature. We're as a society slowly waking up, and I mean so slowly. And well, I'm just looking at you, I'm looking at so slowly, and we haven't got time to be slow. We haven't got time to, you know, basically come round to the idea that, oh, it's important that we are in touch with nature. And meanwhile, what's happening in the Amazon is destroying those communities that are wonderful, nature-loving, and have been there forever. What right have we to go and trample all over their land, you know, or encourage that it needs to be burned, and at the same time, really spelling disaster for all of us.
Yeah. So the banner at the front says, protect the Amazon. The Amazon has already been depleted by 15%. So it's 15% gone. And the Amazon is bigger than the European Union. Scientists say that when the Amazon gets to about 20% depleted, that's going to lead to all sorts of feedback loops, which will result in the complete collapse of the ecosystem, the Amazon ecosystem. So the whole Amazon could turn to savanna or even deserts. So we've got to protect what's left of the Amazon now. Bolsonaro is ripping it up. He's building a massive new railway right through the Amazon. and that's to help them plant more and more soya. The soya is to help feed the beef from the cattle that then turn into our beef burgers. Great banner here. Indigenous people are the best conservationists and guardians of the natural world. 3 moving in. Down. This is a message to the Western world. Your civilization is killing life on Earth. I'd like to go and look at that banner about the Amazon in numbers. Let's see if I can get to that person. 91% of Amazon rainforest destruction is through industrial meat production and soya to feed animals, violent land grabs and fire. Sorry, just reading it. Violent land grabs and fire clearances by farmers must stop. We can all help by eating less meat. And of course the government could help by changing its tax policies on meat. Having less meat in school dinners, more vegetarian and vegan options, so that people can gradually change and get used to the idea of eating less meat. It would all be good. What's happening here now? So here we are. What causes Amazon deforestation? Timber, beef and soybean production are the leading cause of Amazon deforestation. Fire is a common method of deforestation in the Amazon. People start fires to clear the land before their commercial activities. Climate change is making the dry season hotter and drier, enabling Amazon fires to spread more rapidly. As well as removing important carbon stores, the fire themselves release even more carbon into the atmosphere, further worsening climate change. The Amazon rainforest is now emitting more carbon dioxide than it is able to absorb. Scientists have confirmed this first time, so that's really important. The Amazon is the world's biggest climate sink, or used to be. It absorbed, all those trees absorb carbon dioxide, but now there's so many fires and so much deforestation that it's emitting more carbon dioxide and it's soaking up. If we can prohibit fires in the Amazon, it would be a carbon absorber. We need a global agreement to save the Amazon and control exports of timber, beef and soya. Indigenous people are the best conservationists and guardians of the natural world. We Indigenous people are fighting to save the Amazon rainforest, but the whole world is in trouble because we do not respect it. Fight for life, protect Indigenous land rights, respect the natural world. Oh yeah, sorry, I just came in halfway through that. I'm Graham, I'm from Extinction Rebellion in Sheffield. I'm doing some filming.
Oh, you're from Sheffield?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
I'm from London.
London? I was hoping you were going to say Brazil. Not Brazil.
Pardon?
I was hoping you were going to say Brazil.
Oh, well, he's from Brazil.
I'm from Brazil.
I'm Arab. I'm not Brazilian, but Brazil is close to my heart as well.
So, you're part of the struggle for the indigenous people in Brazil. Do you want to say something to the viewers about that?
I mean, what's there to say about the struggle? It's been 500 years of, genocide and suffering and mistreatment, having their lands taken away from them, having every trick in the book thrown at them from all sorts of governments, from the colonial times to the present. I mean, obviously we're protesting a lot these days, but this is not a new issue. 10 years ago, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
a lot of this was still really bad. It's just, right now it's reaching a climactic point where I think we all feel that there may be no turning back, that if in these next 5-10 years we don't start making the right choices, well, there won't be any time left for them.
No. But unfortunately, it's not an issue that our media take much interest in, so most people don't know much about it at all. So
yeah, no, it's quite alarming because the information is out there. There are so many history books you could read on all of that.
Right, yeah.
So many studies coming out to tell you about how bad the situation has been getting. But people have limited time. They can't know everything about everything. So that's why this sort of thing is important, to really, help put the word out there. Even sometimes it's an inconvenience for some. It's drawing attention to something that is very important and that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah. Is there any hope of getting rid of Bolsonaro?
I mean, of getting rid of Bolsonaro, I think there's quite a bit of hope. It's not looking too good for the elections next year, but it's less so Bolsonaro himself as an individual and more the ideas that he represents, the kind of rhetoric that brought him into power in the first place. And that's unfortunately not going away anytime soon, so it's definitely something that we need to continue working on to try and, make sustainable change that can actually allow us to live in this world in harmony with nature for, well, as long as we possibly can.
Yeah. It just seems to be getting worse and worse so quickly, doesn't it? I was reading
right now we're talking about floods in Germany and China. We're talking about wildfires in California and Greece. A few years ago there was black soot rain falling on São Paulo all the way from the Amazon. So if you told a lot of people this kind of stuff 20-30 years ago, they'd be like, oh, that's a great pitch for a disaster movie you've got going on there. But right now it's a lot of people's reality, and before you know it, it's going to be our reality as well.
Yeah. And 15% of the Amazon's gone. We're just as bad because we've destroyed nearly all of our natural forests. But the Amazon is so special, isn't it, as a carbon sink? But now it's a carbon emitter.
Yeah, and the thing is, none of that is disconnected. A lot of the gold that's been illegally mined at, say, the Yanomami Reserve ends up in Europe, ends up in this country. The soy moratorium has done some good work, but generally speaking, a lot of the, soy or meat from Brazil is still being consumed internationally. And all of that goes back to, the destruction of the Amazon. So the ring that you're giving to your spouse, the gold in it, the meat you're putting on your children's plate, that may be coming from, the deforested Amazon. So, maybe the forests here have been burned away a long time ago, but given how global capitalism works, there's still some damage being done in this day and age right here.
Okay, well, thanks ever so much for being here. Keep up the struggle.
No worries.
Thank you.
Sure, we're here because the Amazon's at tipping point. It's got about 20 years left until it stops producing enough rain to sustain itself, which means it can destroy savanna, and a big part of that is the soy industry. Slash and burn techniques, just burning through Amazon for soy for animal feed, and we're very much complicit in that. Tesco being one of the biggest suppliers of soy in the UK. So yeah, we need to change our ways and also be resilient.
So Tesco meat is not a good thing?
Absolutely not. They're the biggest importers of soy here in the UK, so the Greenpeace are very much backing Tesco to change that.
Right. Well, it's great to see Greenpeace here. It's great that different groups can come together to support this, and thanks for being here. Thank you. Look at this. That's beautiful.
It's just nice to see people represented respectfully, and their culture celebrated. Because there's a huge narrative which is that and it's Bolsonaro's narrative that indigenous people don't have culture. And actually, if you look at the way they've orchestrated their campaign, the Fight for Life campaign, all the social media, pages, they're constantly live streaming. They're so well organised. This campaign has been, so informative, and I think it's really brought the indigenous struggle, indigenous culture to the forefront of a lot of people's attention. And so that whole right-wing narrative that these people don't have culture and their land is open for westernised civilizations to exploit is a very false narrative. So
Hilarious.
It's the process the Brazilian government uses to officially map out and protect indigenous peoples' territories, without which they can't survive. Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Indigenous peoples across the world are protecting 80% of the world's biodiversity. We're standing alongside them. APIB, the indigenous movement and indigenous peoples across Brazil, have asked for our support today. As I said, they're there in Brasilia. They're campaigning, they're pushing the Supreme Court to vote against the Marco Temporal, against the time limit trick. Yesterday, they held a vigil outside the Supreme Court. Today, they'll hold another vigil outside the Supreme Court. They won't stop fighting for their rights, neither will we. We've been here for decades and we won't stop. Reminder to everybody, if posting things on social media today, we'd invite you to tag APIB, the Association of Indigenous Peoples of Brazil, APIB Oficial on social media, and to use the hashtags Luta pela Vida, Luta pela Vida, that means struggle for life. That's the name of the action, the global action that APIB is leading this week and that we are part of here today. Another hashtag, Marco Temporal now. You can see on some of the placards. Another hashtag, Indigenous Emergency, and another one, Stop Brazil's Genocide. Indigenous rights now! Indigenous rights now! Indigenous rights now! Indigenous rights now!
The Supreme Court must understand that what happens after this vote is in their hands. If they approve the time limit trick proposal, it will be genocide.
That was a quote by Alice Pataxó, an indigenous leader from Brazil, from an indigenous people in Brazil called the Pataxó people. Em portugueses, o STF precisa entender que é a sua responsabilidade o que acontece com as vidas indígenas após essa votação. Aprovar o marco temporal é uma sentença de genocídio. In English is, the Supreme Court must understand that what happens after this vote is in their hands. If they approve the time limit trick proposal, it would be genocide. Today, this vote starts in Brazil. This is a landmark case. This will make a huge change in indigenous lives and lands in Brazil. We need to stop the time limit trick, and that's why we are here. And if you want to defend the Amazon, if you want to defend the rainforest, you need to defend indigenous rights, and you need to fight for the demarcation of indigenous land in Brazil. Demarcação já! Demarcação já! The time limit trick proposal is genocidal. Civil society must take action alongside us. Indigenous peoples, because indigenous territories allow the world to breathe. And we're all desperate for this to happen. We're thinking about our children and our children's children. And I hope more and more people around here. I just hope everyone is listening, the police, people walking by, carrying on a normal life and not looking at these things as finished. We've got to think about these things now. This was a quote from Célia Chacriabá from Minas Gerais, the center of Brazil. In Portuguese it says, O marco temporal é genocida. A sociedade precisa se mobilizar junto de nós, povos indígenas, tendo em vista que são os territórios indígenas que sustentam a respiração do mundo. I'm gonna read once again in English. The time limit trick proposal is genocidal. Civil society must take action alongside us, indigenous peoples, because indigenous territories allow the world to breathe.
This quote is from Marcia Candeva. Those who will gain the most from the time frame proposal are the agribusiness lobby and the land grabbers who invade and destroy our land. We can't let that happen. So shout, Marco Temporal no, and defend the environment.
Those who will gain the most from the time frame proposal are the agribusiness lobby and the land grabbers who invade and destroy our lands. We can't let that happen. So shout, Marco Temporal, no!
This is by Davi Yanomani. Bolsonaro quer o ovo da nossa terra, mas isso é como tirar nosso sangue. Ele acha que o ovo vai deixar ele mais poderoso. Não vai. Bolsonaro wants the gold from our land, but this is like taking our blood. He thinks gold will make him more powerful, but it won't.
I want to ask the people around the world to try and understand our way of life, our hunting, singing, culture, languages. We have the right to live in peace. Feel free to come and go in the place that is ours, in our forest. Without our forest, we will not survive.
This powerful quote is from Tainaki Tenetehara, the Amazon Guardian. Em português, it says: eu quero pedir para quem estiver lendo, o mundo inteiro, que se sensibilizem com o nosso modo de vida. Porque é esse o nosso jeito de caçada, de cantoria, nossa cultura, nossa própria língua. Temos o direito de viver em paz, livres, de andar, de ir e vir dentro do que é nosso, dentro da nossa floresta. Sem ela, não sobreviveremos. Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Demarcação já! Indigenous rights now! Now!
You white people must understand the rights of the people of the forest. I'm not negotiating land or gold. I'm fighting for our rights. I'm fighting for peace for the people of the forest. No more genocide. Enough is enough. This quote is from Dario Yanomami, who live in Roraima, the north of Brazil. They are having their lands invaded by illegal miners who are destroying their land. They are partying with organized crime in the north of Brazil. We have heavily armed illegal miners with support from local politicians of that state who are invaded and destroying the Yanomami land. The Yanomami have been the victims of a massacre in 1983, and it's a story repeating itself. So, demarcação já, miners out, mineração fora.
Bolsonaro out! Bolsonaro out! Bolsonaro out! Bolsonaro out! Bolsonaro out!
Say, fora Bolsonaro genocida! Fora Bolsonaro genocida!
Fora Bolsonaro genocida!
Para Bolsonaro genocida!
Fora
genocida, Okay, so now we try to go to the Brazilian embassy because the organizations here study with a PV wanted to hand in a letter to the Brazilian government, to the inside the embassy here, and they've refused to come out to see us. So they've asked us to send it by email. We know we never get any reply from them anyway. If you just send an email, you know that's just going to get lost. So we are going to try now and go to the entrance of the embassy to hand in these letters.
We've made a letter to the Brazilian ambassador, which is going to be given now. They refused to come out and meet us, so we had to send it by email. So this is just a pretend. So they didn't want to come out and meet us here. I'm just going to have Marvina here saying something that she feels is necessary. This event was called by a PB, so we're following the protocol of what they want us to do, raising and reading the voices from different groups from Brazil. We're going to have a group talking about the Yanomami. We're going to have some guests from the Hanikuin community and really sharing the space with indigenous voices. But Marvina wanted to say something about the Black Lives Matter in Brazil. Thank you so much.
So what's very important that we need to talk about is the racism in Brazil for the black Brazilians. While we talk about the indigenous people, black Brazilians have been treated less than humans. Black Brazilians are facing the same things that we are facing when it comes to institutional racism. For a group of people who were stolen from their land and taken to Brazil, and their voice till today is not listened to. The fact that colorism still plays a part. We need to make sure as allies you stand also with black Brazilians, because their life matters too. As we stand with the indigenous people, from United for Black Lives, we stand with black Brazilians all day, every day. We stand with the indigenous rights. But climate justice is what we should be doing. The injustice of one affects us all. We need to stand united when we talk. We need to make sure it's not about just coming to the protest. What are you going to do after this? What campaigns are you going to support? Are you going to donate to the right causes? Are you going to make sure you are an ally that gives back?
We're trying to enter the embassy. What's happening? Are they going to come and take it from you?
Sorry?
Are they going to come and take it from you?
Apparently someone's going to come over and talk to us and they're going to take the letter. We'll just have to wait and see who that is.
So it looks like somebody has agreed to come out and take the position. No?